Hey there, welcome to Motorcycles and Misfits. Coming to you from
semi-sunny Plain, Washington on the Touratech Rally.
Exactly. Hey everyone, this is Liza, and joining me here,
Wendy Crockett.
that's you, Iron Butt Wendy Crockett, the one and only. I think you're about to be elevated from stunt misfit to extra special misfit.
I'm stunt plus.
Okay, we'll go with that. Platinum plus. So yeah, this is a fresh podcast. This is not a retro. Hope you've been enjoying those. But we are here in Plain, Washington at the Touratech Rally. Wendy, you want to describe our surroundings?
It is absolutely stunning. I've never been to this particular event location before, and we're surrounded by beautiful mountains and trees and just enough of a breeze right now to keep the weather cool, a few little fluffy clouds, a few sprinkles now and then, lots of great vendors, beautiful location, like plenty of fantastic places to ride here. This is a really cool event. I'm looking forward to checking it out.
And bikes all around us. And wind, so if you hear that, we're just battling the windstorm here. So we're up here to enjoy the rally before we launch on our world record ride. And wow, this is fun. I mean, a little bit of an adventure enduro wet dream here. There's everything here.
Yeah, I'm seeing so much really cool stuff. I'm excited to check out. I think we need to jump in and see what we can find.
Yeah, we got vendors everywhere. We got test rides. You got Zero, Suzuki, Harley with their Pan America, CF Moto, Moto Morini, Yamaha, Honda. That's a ton of test rides. Oh, and there's somebody on Africa Twin with a traffic cone on their head.
We've got all the big vendors. We've got Cruz Tools. We've got Modas. We've got Climb.
Dunlop. Break Free is here.
Insta360. And then we've got a lot of layouts here. And then some cool, interesting, innovative new products, it looks like. Atlas Throttle Lock looks like one we want to check out.
Yeah, I think I want to get one of those.
Yeah.
So let's walk around and see what we find, and let's do some cool interviews.
Sounds good. Let's do it.
So I'm here with a special guest. Now, Wendy, I don't think you know how special this guest is for the Motorcycles and Misfits. If we go all the way back to, I think it was like 2013. Yeah, it was a long time ago. The first guest we ever had on our show who called in was Long Haul Paul Pelland. And ever since then, everywhere I go, he's there. That guy. And he's here with me now. Hey, Paul.
Hey, how are you?
Good. Yeah, did you know you were the first guest we ever had on our show?
I vaguely remember that. It was a long time ago, somewhere between when Moses parted the Red Seas and we went through the pandemic. Somewhere in between there. Yeah, I remember that.
It was the first time we did a show that was dedicated to mental health, too. We had a couple different people on talking about it, but you talked a lot about how riding is such a big part of your mental health. And I remember you're doing your 1,000,000 miles for MS, and you said, the only time my brain feels right is when I'm riding.
That's true. Yeah, it still is. And I'm still riding. And yeah, my goal is 1,000,000 miles for MS. And where every mile that I'm riding is dedicated to either going somewhere where I'm speaking or presenting or just, telling my story. And I'm still here, still on the road. And, the motorcycling part has really been a huge part of my therapy, my treatment. And it still is today. I was home for about a month before coming out here, and I was getting pretty antsy and crazy, and lots of my body parts start to hurt and everything else. And I took the long way to get here, and it really just kind of cured me for a while. So really enjoyed being on the road and riding.
Yeah, and Wendy, you're a long distance rider, we know, but Paul, he really puts on the miles too. Have you guys ever compared your miles?
No, I don't think so.
No.
I think you get to a certain point in the long distance community where it's not about just the flat miles anymore. It's kind of celebrating people's crazy endeavors, whatever that looks like. And Paul has just such a consistently amazing outlook and his adventures, and he's got so much fun stuff to share. I had no idea he was your first guest, but you couldn't have set the bar any higher.
Yeah, the thing that's interesting is you both are definitely a certain breed, because neither of you are out doing it to prove anything to anyone. It's just where you belong, right?
I think that's exactly right. And I think, and that's, certainly no shade to anybody. Like, we love to have people that love doing big mile stuff as much as we do. And for a lot of people, it's, you are aiming for that 500-mile day, and you're going to work up to that point, and it's like an aspirational thing that really is like the crowning jewel. And then I think you have people like Paul and I that's just how we travel. We just don't have off switches. Again, so it's a whole lot less about how many iron butt rides have you done and how many miles you've done. It's, just sharing the cool stories that happen along the road. That's really makes it awesome.
So there's another thing you two have in common. The bikes you choose to ride. And in fact, all three of us are riding Yamahas. We are sitting here at the Touratech Rally in a Yamaha tent. So if you hear whipping sounds, it's quite windy out there. We're taking shelter in a tent.
Yeah, it's when I've ridden all kinds of motorcycles. I love them all, really, as long as they're running. It's a good bike. So when I first decided I wanted to do the 1,000,000 miles, of course, I tried to get sponsors, or try to get people to support and help, and it was a lot harder than I thought. And then I said, well, it's come to the point where I need to get a motorcycle that's not going to need factory support. Yeah. Something I can ride and know that it's going to work day in and day out, and I won't be in the shop, and I won't be waiting for weird parts to come, from somewhere else or whatever. Something that I could depend on and be reliable. And people like Wendy had well proven the FJR. That was one of my top bikes that I was thinking about using for my 1,000,000-mile journey. But also the Super Tenere had just come out, and that really looked promising. And I ended up going with the Super Tenere, and I rode the first one pretty hard, and I rode the second one pretty hard.
Isn't one of them in a museum now?
Yeah, the first Super Tenere that I had is down at Barber Motorsports Museum, which is pretty amazing.
How many miles on it?
That bike had 173,000 on it when it.
So just breaking it in.
Yeah, well, it had lived a hard life, so I figured it was time to put it to rest. But it's certainly found a nice place to rest its feet, and the people at Barber are just incredible, and it helps people learn about what I'm doing and why I'm out there. So it's I think Yamaha had a little bit of help in getting that bike in that museum. So
yeah, and that's the thing. I always look forward to finding you at the Yamaha tent at events. So make sure if you're going to an event, if you see a Yamaha tent, you might find Paul there. And Wendy, you like Yamaha, but you also stick with the same bike. And have how many now of the FJR?
So I have 8 FJRs, yeah. And the reason is twofold. One, like Paul said, I'm a mechanic. I can fix things. I don't want to have to fix my own things when I'm on the road. So I pick bikes that I know are going to be reliable. But the second very honest reason that I keep accumulating FJRs is my custom seat. I have a Russell Daylong seat that is so stinking comfortable that I don't want to start over fresh with a new bike that I'm building. So I just accumulate FJRs, and I can take my custom seat and move it bike to bike. I can take my fuel cell and move it bike to bike. And so I never have to worry about being uncomfortable or having to refuel.
And maybe you don't like change, but Paul here, you've changed bikes a few times. Let's talk about all the bikes that you've been riding all this time.
I'm sure I started on the Super Tenere, and when that was starting to wear out a bit, I had asked Yamaha, if they could help me a little bit with a new one. In fact, the bike at Barber Museum is probably the only motorcycle in their entire collection that still had 18 months of payments left on it when it was donated. But at the time, that's because I had bought that one new, and then when I knew it was time to look for something else, I asked Yamaha if they could help me out, and they did. They gave me a really good discount on a leftover bike. And so I was able to afford it and keep riding. And that second Super Tenere, I put 130,000 on that one.
Is that the one you had the air conditioning on?
The air conditioning system, which we're not supposed to talk about. That.
Okay.
There's a whole long story about that thing.
Yes, I remember seeing that one.
That is on the bike at the museum. That's on the first one. The prototypes worked great. Yeah. When that went to market and became commercially available, they had lowered the amperage and things, and the units just weren't working. And it just didn't work out. It's too bad because a lot of people, like myself, suffer from heat and causes issues with different health problems. MS is one of them. It's a big one. So I had the second Tenere, and I'm still trying to get Yamaha to support me more, or and different vendors and different sponsors and things for what I'm doing. I'm starting to ride more and more miles. It's costing me more money to be on the road. And so I'm just trying to find ways. And so I had heard about Yamaha was reintroducing the Venture, their touring bike. And it had been 5 years since they'd made one. And this was a brand new model. It was coming out. It was all new. And they were calling it the Transcontinental.
It used to be the Royal Star Venture, right?
Yes. Yeah. And so, I had called up. By now, I know quite a few people at Yamaha, and they had been helping me with parts and things and inviting me to hang out, like at Daytona and bike shows and things. And so I knew a few people, and I called up one of the marketing guys, and I said, I know about the new bike you're going to introduce. I said, it's called Transcontinental. I said, has anybody actually ridden it across the country yet? And they laughed.
Put them in a corner with that one.
I said, well, give me one, and I will show people that it's a dependable, reliable bike. What I can do. And so we had a little meeting down, it was still in California then, and they said, yeah, we'll give you one. So that was the first bike that they had, basically donated to my journey. And I rode it. I rode it as hard as I was riding the Super Teneres, as far as, in all kinds of weather and long distance. And I put about 105,000 miles in just over a year on that bike.
And of all the bikes you ride, that was the one true tourer.
It was actually, a cruiser. My feet were out in front of me. I had never owned a motorcycle, 40-something motorcycle, where I could see my own feet. And I thought it would be, a hard change, and it really wasn't. It was comfortable. One of the first bikes that I've never had to change the seat on. It was comfortable enough. It had a lot of features. Some of them worked better than others, but it was an air-cooled big 1900cc cruiser, and cool looking, and it had lots of storage, and I rode it. It was a couch, yeah.
So after that, you went to something not as traditional.
So the Venture, it came out, it was rolled out, and it took a while, and a lot of the dealers didn't understand, and it was really one of the more expensive, or the most expensive bike Yamaha had ever, touring bike they'd ever put out, and it didn't sell as well as they had hoped. And the cruiser market, it's really hard to get somebody to get off of an American-made cruiser and to put something, to try something else. Even the men and women that rode the bike at demos would say, I love this bike, but I ride this, I ride something else. And so, I tried to get Yamaha to offer free tattoo removal cream with every new venture, but they didn't think that was great. So the bike was kind of stumbling in sales and things. And so I knew it probably wasn't going to be around for a while. At the same time, everybody's talking about this elusive Tenere 700, which is, a parallel twin 700cc, which is less than half the size of the motor of the bike that I'm currently thrashing.
And you went from a couch to a 2x4.
Well, I mean, I don't know. A lot of people, who even own the bikes can't believe that I ride at long distance. But with any motorcycle, when you set it up to be comfortable, you set it up to endure the longer rides and not have to stop so often and do the things to it that make it more of a touring bike or long distance bike, it becomes one.
So for riding a 700, is it buzzy at high speeds?
So I was a little worried. I don't tend to ride slow. We'll leave it there. And, I'm like, geez, a 700. I don't know if it's going to be how it's going to be on the highway or its speeds. And so I ended up taking an MT-07, which is basically the same motor.
Yeah.
For a ride a few months before I knew I was going to get the T7, just to make sure I could.
This wind is really whipping up. I'm just looking at the edges of the tent lifting up. Yeah. So so with the bike, not really designed as a touring bike, what are some of the changes that you made to make it more comfortable?
One of the first things, like Wendy, is the seat. It's where you put your butt, and all your weight is not on your feet, it's not on your hands, it's on your butt. And so I always have a custom seat made. I use Bill Mayer saddles or Best Motorcycle Seat. Adrian there is now running the company, and the Russell Daylong saddle actually was originally a Mayer saddle, so they're relatives to knowing what to do to make a seat comfortable.
Yeah.
And it really is. They've made 5 or 6. I had them on both Teneres. I had them on the two 700 Teneres. It just makes all the difference in the world when you can ride all day long, get off the bike, and you might be tired, but you're looking forward to getting back on it the next day. Yeah. That's because you're comfortable, and it's set up. The bike's set up for me. Change the handlebar angle a little bit. If you need to change the foot pegs, things, just make it so that it is so comfortable. You don't want to be in a chair. You don't want to be on a couch. You want to get back on that bike because it's so comfortable. You'd rather sleep on the bike when you're tired and not get off of it.
Okay, again, you two are a different kind of breed than most people. I tried sleeping on a bike in the butt challenge, and it was hard. But what about windshield? What have you put on there?
So, I'm not a tall guy. I'm the tallest man in my family, but I'm not a tall guy. So I do add a bit longer windshield. I like to have it so I can see over it. About nose level really is where I tend to like the height, and slightly wider, not too wide, so that's creating lots of turbulence, but enough to take the wind off your upper chest and things like that. It makes a huge difference. I wear a modular helmet.
Yeah, as do I.
And so when I'm, and I often spend times with it in the up position, or receive food position is what I call it. And when you've got the right height windshield and good wind protection, you can talk on the phone or whatever with the helmet in the up position, and there's no buffeting, or you're not getting extra weight on your neck. It's not pulling. Having a balanced helmet also makes a big difference for that aspect of it. But the right windshield, things like adding heated grips and controls so that I can control my heated gear. Makes a big difference. I like to add fuel capacity. Not that I don't like to stop and talk to people, but I don't like to stop and talk to people.
So what's the range that you have it set up for?
So the bike I'm on now has just over 6 gallons. So I'm good for anywhere between 200 and 300 miles, depending on how much I twist the throttle. So.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. My Yamaha out there, I get about 150 to 180 per tank. It's not great.
Yeah, and if you're in an area that you're not familiar with, you don't know the gas stations, you find that you're going to get it earlier. You don't want to be pushing all the time. So,
Exactly.
you'd be looking at 130 to 150. You start thinking about where I'm going to stop. I just went through all of Canada, and there's some places there where it's, 50, 60, 70, 80 or more miles in between stations. And so I planned them to be around 150 is where I started looking, even though I knew if I missed the one at 150, I could go to 2 or 250 if I was... Once I know I don't have gas, I'll slow down.
So let's talk about your route here, because we are on the opposite side of the country. We're in northern Washington right now, right? And you're where, Maine?
New Hampshire.
New Hampshire, the other one. So how long did it take you to get here?
So I left on Friday morning early, and I actually went up north. I went into just outside Montreal, and I crossed over all the Canadian provinces. And I had to be here Wednesday. I should have been here Wednesday morning to help set up all these tents. But typically I get here about noon and they're almost done setting up. So
You planned it that way.
Oh, of course. So I wanted to be here Wednesday afternoon, and looking at the schedule, originally I was going to leave Saturday, and there was a Yamaha dealer in Thunder Bay, Ontario, who last year, when I was taking the same exact ride, I had a little problem with my motorcycle. Not with the Yamaha parts, but with some aftermarket parts, wheels in particular, that I had put on the bike. I blew out a wheel bearing, and I had a bunch of people who stopped what they were doing and come get me with a tow truck, with a truck and trailer, and then brought me to a dealer. The next morning, the dealer stopped everything they were doing and fixed the bearings and had to make some machine work and things that really went out of their way to help me out and get me back on the road. And I made it to Touratech on time. So this year I said, I'm going to leave a day early so I can visit the shop.
Nice.
I would have been by there on a Sunday.
Did you show up there like, oh no, this guy?
No, I let them know ahead of time. I said, I want to come by. Is it okay? And I want to buy pizzas for the shop. Just buy lunch for the shop. And you guys were so awesome to me, and I really was want to show my appreciation. So he says, yeah, around what time? I said, probably right around 12. And sure enough, I made it to Thunder Bay at 12. And Eric Flowens, the owner, and of course, he had already ordered all the pizzas, and then they brought desserts and everything else, and they wouldn't let me pay. I was so mad. I said, next time I'm not telling you. But, the whole shop stopped what they were doing, and we had lunch together, and I'm just like, this is amazing. And he says, you guys don't do this in the U.S.? I'm like, it's really hard to find this kind of... and gave me another one of their employees made a T-shirt for me that has my logo on the back, Go Paul Go, and then the front was the name of the shop, Excalibur. It's just amazing. So once again, they one-upped me.
Nice.
But so I started a day early is the point, so that I could be there when they were open.
Yeah.
And then I stayed in Winnipeg that night, and then I made it to Edson in. Alberta, maybe, and I looked at the route, and I said, geez, I have like a day and a half extra.
Let's make it longer.
I'm gonna see if I can get up to Hyder, Alaska.
What?
Yeah,
What?
it's not that far.
Paul. You just added Alaska to your trip
Yeah.
from New Hampshire to Washington. Okay. Listeners, this is what I'm talking about. These people are kind of crazy. Crazy cool, but still kind of crazy. So you went to Alaska?
I did. I went to Hyder, and I got Hyder size for the first time, which I had thought I had been there years before, but showing up, I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure I've not been here before. So that was kind of cool. And the Hyder has there's a lot of history with long distance riders in Hyder, or anybody trying to set a record of 49 states or whatever. Hyder is the closest place that you can get in Alaska by road.
This isn't the place with a toe, is it?
You're thinking of Dawson City, Yukon.
Yeah, no, this is the place where you have to pound down 150 proof something or other gasoline they make you drink to say you were there. Great gift shop, and that's about it. There's not even a guard to get into the U.S., into Alaska there. There's no border guard. There is one on the other side coming back into Canada, but very lonely job from what I could tell.
I think last time I was there, they had like a gun shop / laundromat in the same building that was underneath our hotel, like all 3 in 1.
So basically, long story short, Yamaha's good for long distance riding, and the Tenere 700, great touring bike.
I didn't wear one out. I had a 21, so I had the first year that they were here in these States, and I rode it pretty hard. I put 211,000 miles on it, and Yamaha was kind of saying, we're tired of looking at this old dirty bike that you bring to all the shows. We're trying to get people to buy new ones. How about we give you a new one? And I said, I don't really. They go, no, you're getting a new one. Get rid of that thing. And so I raffled it off, actually, at Americade last year. Raffled it off, and whoever wins it, I'll ride it to your house. And a gentleman in Texas won it, and I rode it down to his house, and he's still riding it. He's enjoying it. He left all the stickers on it, so it's the long haul Paul bike, and he's really excited about it.
I just remembered the thing you did on the dyno. How long did you ride on a dyno?
24 hours, nonstop.
I remember that.
Yeah.
That was fun. I think I donated it. You got me with that one. So Wendy, can you imagine riding the distances he's ridden on a Tenere 700?
I mean, like he said, listening to Paul describe what he's done to the bike exactly mirrors what I've done to my bike. I mean, literally. So many people know me as bionic pelvis. I shattered my pelvis in an accident, and then the doctor said, don't ride. And I was like, right. And I immediately tried to go ride. As soon as I got out of the wheelchair, I broke my pelvis. Point being, my custom made seat is the most comfortable place for me to be. I have I use like a V-Stream windscreen, and it gives me this perfect quiet pocket in there. So I'm not dealing with ringing ears, even without earplugs or anything like that. So when you create, is that a generator we hear off in the distance? The lovely dulcet tones of, but when you make your bike that comfortable, whether it's the Tenere 700 or the FJR or any other bike, as long as it's reliable, it's a long distance platform. As long as you're happy to be there.
Nice. Well, Paul, thank you for coming on the show.
One more question for Paul.
Yeah.
What's your mile count? Where are you at?
I'm just about 700,000 for MS.
Damn, you're gonna do this.
We're getting there. It's slowing down a little bit. I'm not as busy as I was a few years back. I've had little health things here and there, but every mile is going to do something with MS. There are times when I'm not riding at all, and I could go out and ride a couple 100 miles every morning, and I would have been done by now. But that was never the point. Like, I'm not doing this for a trophy or certificate. I'm doing it, to prove a point, and to just, to say that I've done something for for MS and for charity and raising money and doing these silly stunts that I do, like riding on a dyno or building a chopper and doing coast to coast on a chopper.
That's right, on the Bolt.
They're all just silly, stupid world records, unlike some other people we know who have real records. The trip here was 4,800 miles, and more than half of it, I was listening to this young lady's voice reading her book, Pushing Miles, and it literally, I loved it. I honestly didn't realize how well of a writer that Wendy was, but the story is just insanely incredible, and little bits of it I see myself in parts of it, and other long distance riders have been through similar things, but to read it all and to have it read to me, it's just been great. I really I'm looking forward to my ride home. I may take a little extra day or two so I can get in all the chapters, but it's an incredible story, and so Wendy's world records are real. Mine are goofy ones for charity and to raise money. But you have to be a little crazy to do what we do. And it's a small community. We all kind of know each other or understand what we're doing and why. And it's a really cool way to spend on a motorcycle.
I'm just going to point out that what Paul calls a real world record was riding the states in alphabetical order, just to give you context for the kind of crazy people that you're talking to.
Well, Paul, this is your chance. What plugs do you want to do?
I would not be able to do what I'm doing. And, I do a lot of reach. Like in 2 weeks, I'll be in Wisconsin speaking to a group of patients that have MS. And I'll be riding there and talking about how riding has helped me and how they should, try to find something in their life to make the MS have less value, to spend more time doing what they love and less time thinking about the disease that that they have. I could not do this without Yamaha. Yamaha USA has been just incredible. They take care of me everywhere I go. They're helping me with expenses. They're helping with motorcycles and parts and service. They've just been unbelievably incredible. Bridgestone tires. I mean, you don't think about the rubber as much as you should, but without Bridgestone tires, they send me all the tires I need, and they don't ask for anything in return. They've just been incredible.
That's nice.
From the beginning. Aerostitch, again, I make a phone call, they'll send me whatever I need. Unfortunately, I don't ever need anything from them. I'm at their store and they're like, "What do you want, Paul? What do you need?" And I'm like, "Do you have any more of those little plastic Ziploc bags that I put my maps in?" They're like, "That's all you want?" It's like $8. I'm like, "That's all I need." I wore out the Ziploc. Aerostitch, held gloves have been very helpful. And of course, Bill Mayer seats, Adrian, they've just all been supporting me from day one. Clearwater Lights too. I gotta thank Clearwater Lights.
Do you have a website or anything where people
I do. Everything is Long Haul Paul, one word. That's Facebook, YouTube,
all the things,
Instagram, and all that other stuff. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for checking back in.
Oh, it's been great.
And being a guest on our show.
Good to see you. It's always good to see you.
I know. Well, good to see you too. All right. Thank you. So we are walking amongst the booths here at the Touratech Rally and looking for something different or interesting. And here's my tip. If you're walking through booths, you need to go in and just check out every little thing. Don't judge by the name or the sign or what's out front, because you might find something on a back table that's interesting. And Wendy, you're the one who snuck in here to see what was in here. What did you find?
Well, I did. Quite contrary to your advice just now. I saw their awesome logo, and it's Mischief Off Road. So their logo is a little devil with a pitchfork, and I'm like, these seem like my kind of people. I'm going to see what they got going on in here. So I came in and I started talking to Lisa a little bit about what they have to offer, and honestly, like each new thing that I started playing with, I became more and more impressed.
So, hi, Lisa. Nice to meet you.
Hey, very nice to meet you all as well. Welcome to our little corner called Mischief, where our tagline is, "What's your MO?" Because it's all about how everyone has their own riding style, their own personal style, and who they are individually. So everything we do is around that. We have things that are like ride wise, travel smart, and others that are like, you know, you're the little devil racing hell, running through the desert. So a little something for everybody. But what we're highlighting today are things like our Vessel coffee pour over set, which is a multi-purpose set that has 2 mugs, or a mug and storage for your beans.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
I thought I was just looking at like a normal old thermos.
It's not a normal old
It is
thermos.
not. And even if you don't like coffee and you just like tea or hot cocoa, I promise you can still benefit from the dual mugs, as well as if you are a coffee drinker, there's this handy little compartment.
Okay, I have to describe. Now it's turned into like something from NASA, where different components break apart. Like, okay, so that long thermos is now broken into 3 things. So you've got mugs, like part of it is a mug. 2 mugs?
2 mugs.
2 mugs.
A coffee dripper.
A coffee dripper.
And storage for a coffee grinder.
What?
All in one.
Okay.
And, you know, you don't have to use the storage for the coffee grinder. It could be something else that you put in there, like tea bags or cocoa bags or whatever you happen to like. But it's an all-in-one system, and we're super proud to have it.
Oh, so all right. Full disclosure, I've never had a cup of coffee, never made a cup of coffee.
Okay.
So I don't know what these things are, but you just put this piece on top of the mug, the drip part on top of the mug.
And then there's a reusable filter that goes inside, and you just drip your coffee beans through, and you have your cup of coffee anywhere you want.
Is this like
anywhere in the world.
stupid simple? Why do I see people take all this effort to make coffee?
Super simple.
As Lisa was describing to me and showing me the function of this, all I could think of was Stumpy John in Pakistan and his 75-piece arrangement to have coffee each morning. And I was like, this is what John needs in his kit. It's so brilliantly simple.
So did you guys come up with this?
No. So the company's name is Vessel, and we are just honored to be able to carry their product, primarily because we love our coffee. And so once we discovered it, we had to bring it to everybody.
So you make the coffee?
We have the coffee.
Ah.
They have the coffee kit. So it just pairs.
So you buy the NASA thermos thing.
That's right.
Which can be used for hiking or camping or absolutely anything.
Anything. And if you decide you don't want the grinder and you don't want to mess with the beans and you don't want the big fancy thermos, guess what? We've got the instant coffee too. So it's a win-win all the way around for everyone. And then we've got something else that's really super cool. We have our boot dryer.
This got my attention because, I mean, let's describe what we're looking at, Wendy. It's 3D printed type of a plastic sprocket about the size of a coaster, right?
Yeah, that's a good
With a fan built in and wires coming out of it. So tell us what this thing does.
So what this thing is this is a boot dryer. You just pop it in the top of your boots. And you know, at the end of the day, if you've been going through the creek and you're all nice and wet, or you just have sweat a lot because the day was 150 degrees and you were in the desert, you pop these little babies in the top of the boot. You plug them into any kind of USB-C, could be a phone charger, could be a portable charger.
Can you plug it in so I can hear it? It's basically a computer fan.
Yes. And within an hour, your boots will be nice and dry. So, there we
go.
Yeah, I guess.
Is that out of juice?
Yeah, probably.
Oh, no.
We've been showing it all day.
We'll make this sound. There, we've made the sound. That's okay.
But anyway.
It's something it's really as simple as it is a fan that you'd find on the back of a computer, very small, lightweight, and you've 3D printed a case that looks like a little sprocket, but which makes vent holes. So as this sucks the air down into the boot, it's letting it escape around the outside. It's, how much would you say this weighs? 3 ounces, maybe 2?
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it is beyond negligible. It weighs less than a few granola bars.
Yeah, and it's like a couple little coasters that you just pop into your boots or carry in your bag, and away you go for portability on the road.
All right, that's truly unique. I love seeing that. So how much is the NASA thermos thingy?
So the NASA thermos is $80.
Okay.
The boot dryers are normally $69. For Touratech, we have them for $49.
This seems like anyone who's doing true like adventure riding, going through water, rain, anything like that, we could have used it in Peru.
Yeah, and this is one of those things, sitting here thinking about our coffee, the last thing we want to do after a perfectly brewed cup of coffee is put on soggy, wet, cold boots.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
All right, shameless plug time.
Yes.
Can people go online and order these from you?
They absolutely can. And our website is https, and it's mischief-offroad.com.
MischiefOffroad.com. Look for the devil in the helmet. Looks kind of like you sometimes.
That's what I'm
when
saying.
You're hungry.
That's what it drew me in.
And everybody should have a little mischief. So go enjoy the ride.
Well, thank you. I think these are 2 really unique items, and I like these boot dryers a lot. Thanks.
This is Wendy here. We're still at the Touratech Rally, and we're in the Cruz Tools tent here, where we came in a little bit, like half to hide from the rain, but half also to talk to the guys here. Something we recognized last night. Liza and I were kind of comparing what we've packed for this trip that we're about to embark on, and I packed 3 pairs of underwear and my contact case, and Liza packed half her house, right? So it's just interesting the different ways that people approach when they're getting ready to take a big trip. But Cruz Tools is one of my favorite companies, and really one of the reasons is because I am a minimalist packer, because the distance I cover, I need to make sure I have the right tools for the job. I'm not carrying a bunch of stuff that I don't need, and then I'm not lacking anything I need to take care of any problems that do arise. So I ducked in here and I wanted to say hi. So
yeah.
Go ahead and
Can you introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hi, my name is Kimo, and I'm with Cruz Tools. And thanks for coming into our booth. And it's nice that you were at the event and came to say hi.
Now, we interviewed you guys at the AIM Expo about 3 years ago, I want to say, because we were interested. Why Cruz? So it turns out originally it started in Santa Cruz, but the company has gone on a long journey since then.
That's right. Yeah. So we have been basically dealing with Cruz Tools for the past almost 20 years. But then there was an opportunity for us to buy the company from the original owner. He was ready to retire. So we've owned Cruz Tools for the past about 8-9 years or something like that.
By we, you mean Touratech.
That's correct. Yeah. So Touratech and Cruz Tools, we're basically the same people, but we just keep the brand separate because Touratech is known for adventure riding, but Cruz Tools caters to any kind of motorcycle rider.
And we actually came to this rally courtesy of a relationship that I have with Cruz Tools.
Thank you.
Cruz Tools has been kind enough to help support a program that I work with that's educating women riders. It's called We Roam. And I reached out to Cruz Tools because I use them personally and I trust them as a brand. And as we're educating women riders, as they're learning how to turn a wrench, do basic maintenance stuff on their own bikes, we want to set them up for success. And Cruz Tools was nice enough to say yes as we approached them for this opportunity. So definitely this is a product that is near and dear to my saddlebags. So give us an idea, what makes Cruz Tools so unique in the market?
Right. So as we all, most riders and, we have lots of different tool kits in our garages and sheds. So tools are everywhere. It's not a problem to find tools. But the idea with Cruz Tools is that we basically, whatever brand motorcycle you ride, we try to distill the kit to just the bare minimum what you might need, for that particular brand of motorcycle.
Yeah, it makes sense. Like on my KTM, I had all these, star fasteners, but on my Japanese bikes, Hondas, you're going to have a bunch of Allen, so you don't need to have everything.
That's right, yeah. And there's many opportunities, again, that we've had on our own rides. Usually it's off-road or adventure riding. You're not right in town and even in cell phone reach. And most of the time it's something small that, you need to address, something rattles loose and so usually nothing serious, but, you just want to have the tools that, you can help either yourself or usually in a group, there's somebody who might not be your own motorcycle.
So you've got quite a variety of kits here, and I noticed some are a little bit more specific. Some of them are more broadly for the brands. So I feel like just about anybody can pick a kit that's going to cover solidly 80% of the problems they're realistically going to find on the road. I will tell you what my favorite kit is, and then I'm going to ask you about your newest. My favorite thing that you guys make is actually the Outbacker tool, and I know people think that I'm a shill, but literally I have a good multi-tool and I have my Outbacker that I keep in my tank bag, and those two tools solve the vast majority of my problems.
This is it?
And the Outbacker is actually, it's a different version of a multi-tool.
Yeah.
It's got, it comes in metric and standard, and it's got the 4 most common sizes of Allen keys.
I thought it was just a folding Allen key set.
No, it's got Phillips and flathead. It has a bit driver with 3 sockets, and it has a wrench.
This is like the Swiss Army knife that actually has things that work.
Exactly. And I know, like I said, I know people think that I'm a shill. I get so excited about my tools that when I was up at We Roam last week and I was taking a shower and I noticed the squeegee handle was loose, I came out with the squeegee fixed and with my Outbacker, and I said, I want you guys to note that I fixed your squeegee with my Outbacker. I say that I love it and use it because I genuinely love it and use it. It is such a handy and well thought out tool. But tell us, too, about the new dirt bike toolkit.
Right. So, as you noticed, so we have kind of a range of different toolkits. Like the Outbacker is the small, and it's like a multi-tool, but specifically for motorcycles. And so that's like the small kit. And often we, some bikes and you have like just no space, but want to have some specific tools to help you out. So that's the smallest one. And then the next size up is a 2x2 by 6 inch pouch, and it's very compact. And we have
seriously compact.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like you can fit like 2 cigars in there.
It's not much more than, it's about 2 palmfuls. It's impressive.
It's the size of a hot dog. It is the size of a hot dog, not even a Costco hot dog.
Yeah. So those ones are kind of our newest kits, and we have basically they're called switchback kits, and there's 2 versions. One would be any KTM or Husqvarna from like 600 cc's down, and the other kit is for Japanese bikes, so Honda, Kawasaki, Suzuki, Yamaha. So there's just 2 kits, and they have been developed in-house for those bikes. So again, they have amazing capability for those smaller bikes that don't, again, have a lot of space on the bikes, or maybe you can put it in a backpack. So, and on a KTM, actually, on some of the smaller KTMs, it could even fit in the airbox cavity if you have like literally no other space on the bike.
So it in this very, very tiny space, we've got the screwdriver that's got the bit drivers and the replaceable reversible flathead Phillips bits in there. We've also got a really great T-handle socket driver.
Oh, that's also an extension for the ratchet. Oh,
yeah.
Nice.
So we've got in this kit, instead of keys, we've got sockets that you can use on that T-handle, both in Torx and in Allens. Some of the most common sizes of sockets. We've got a good pair of needle nose pliers, the most common sizes of wrenches, and of course, everybody needs on the road, zip ties and safety wire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just the basics, what you need, but it's in such a small kit.
Yeah.
What does something like that run?
So the Japanese bike kit is $75, and the KTM is a little more like $80, $79.95. And
Very nice.
just to mention that all our tools, they are lifetime warranty.
Oh,
So we make it very easy. If you manage to break something, we just ask you don't have to mail it in and get exchanged. You would just send us an email, say, look, here's a picture of the Cruz Tools, and then we would just send you a new one. Or if you manage to lose something, we also want to keep it as a lifetime of kit. So, you could just like, hey, somehow I managed to lose a couple of these bits. If you don't mind getting that sorted out, then we'll just mail you what you're missing.
well, that's pretty good.
That's
That's old craftsman days right
That's-
there.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. That's that level of customer service that we used to expect from all the companies, but it's just really hard to find now.
Yeah,
So
we all probably have some toolkits at home that are missing something, and it's just really difficult to find the replacement. So we try to avoid that. And we have customers who have sometimes call, like they might have a 25-year-old Cruz tool kit, and we can still take care of that.
fantastic. Well, do you have anything amazing on the horizon? Any secrets you can give us?
Right. So we don't. So it depends on new motorcycles.
Yeah.
And sometimes we did have like a relatively new kit was for Harley Pan America.
Right.
So most Harleys, they're actually pretty complicated with their fasteners because they have all kinds of weird fasteners. So we have a lot of Harley specific kits, but then Harley made the Pan America, and that one is another mixed fastener set. So we had to make a specific toolkit for that. So we just kind of have to wait and see what new bikes come out and if there's something new that we need to develop.
And give a plug. Where can people buy Cruz Tools from?
Yeah, so that actually is pretty easy because so we supply to the biggest motorcycle distributors in the country, who will then sell all dealers. So it doesn't matter what dealer, motorcycle dealer it is, Cruz Tools are available there. We do, of course, sell on our own website as well, cruztools.com, but any kind of a rider can get it through their own dealer if they want.
Cool. And one more question.
Mm-hmm.
You have a vaguely strange accent, not familiar to these parts. Where are you from?
Right, I grew up in above Arctic Circle in Finland.
Did you see the reindeer down the road? Did it make you feel at home?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. So in my hometown, there's more reindeer than people.
Oh, you probably have eaten reindeer meat.
Yes, it's one of my favorite meals. Yeah, actually,
I don't think those are for eating down there, are they?
no, probably not.
I
They're
think for
pets.
petting.
We,
petting.
we have our night mission planned, it sounds like.
barbecue.
Yeah.
Well,
Got it.
Kimo, thank you so much for supporting all riders with these fantastic kits. Thank you for supporting our efforts to train women out there and become confident as they're learning to explore off-road. And thank you above all for having us here at this amazing event this weekend.
Yeah,
We're having a
thank you.
blast.
Yeah, absolutely. You're welcome, and thanks for coming to the event.
Yeah,
Really
thank you very
appreciate
much.
it. Thank you.
So I was pleasantly surprised walking along the booth to see the Moto Morini tent here at Touratech. Moto Morini, we saw at the AIM Expo and talked to Chris McGee there, but instead I get to talk to John. John, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
So at AIM Expo, we got to look and touch, but not ride. But out here, we get to ride.
Absolutely. This is what it's all about.
And I want to say you just took us on a little test ride. I really appreciate it because it was spirited when it was safe and it was cautious when it was wise.
Good. I'm glad to hear you had a good ride.
Yeah, so we got to try everything out. And I got to try this bike. Now, what is this bike called again? Because it's
Vettore 450.
Vettore.
Vettore 450.
very Italian.
Sure. Yes.
Vettore. And it felt very familiar. And Wendy, you were riding what?
I was riding the new 1200.
Yes, which I was saying reminds me a lot of a big Ducati. I mean, Multistrada. That was new at the AIM Expo too.
Correct. Yeah, they're both brand new for 2026. And the Escape 1200 just came in the country about 2 months ago. And then the Vettore arrived in late January.
So let's talk about the Vettore because it felt very familiar to me. And one thing we learned at the AIM Expo that it has a lot of the DNA from the CF Moto Ibex that I also have. So I wanted to talk to you about what's the same but what is different because they look like different bikes.
Yeah, so Moto Morini and our parent Zenin company have a nice relationship with CF Moto. So CF Moto manufactures the parallel twin engines for us. So our 650cc, our 700cc twin cylinders are manufactured by CF Moto. Mm-hmm. And then in this case of the Vettore 450, I call it the brother to the Ibex 450.
Yeah.
And that is because CF Moto is actually manufacturing the whole motorcycle for us. So there's a lot of shared components. We have the same frame, we have the same engine, swing arm, wheels, tires, brakes. Those components are shared. Suspension is similar. Same KYB cartridge fork. Now our fork has about 8.2 inches of travel. There's a 7.9. So we got a little more travel in the front. On the rear, it's the opposite. They've got 7.9, we've got 7.6. But we also share KYB shock, adjustable rebound, and preload spring on the back. On the front, it's got fully adjustable compression rebound preload. And then there's some other subtle differences. So the design of the motorcycle is a little bit different. I would say ours is maybe a little more dual sport design, whereas theirs is maybe a little more ADV with the wraparound fairing up to the front. Ours has a separation between the tank and the radiator shroud versus the front. And then we have kind of the rally tower type setup with our gauge. And
and even on like the windshield, theirs has a ratcheting extension that goes up and down. Yours has a ratcheting that goes out and in to go change the angle.
So ours is a pivot and pivots forward and back. Theirs is just a vertical riser and lower. And so in my opinion, riding them both, they are similar effect. You know, basically once you push that thing far forward, air is going at least over the top of my head. And then if I push it down all the way, it's into my face and I can get the full breeze effect. So another change for the difference between the Vettore and the Ibex is the TFT screen. Yeah. So right in front of your face, you get a 6-inch TFT instead of a 5-inch. As long as we're talking about the front of the motorcycle, on the top triple clamp for a Moto Morini Vettore, we have, like our Escape 650 and 700, a multi-adjustment handlebar clamp. So you have 3 post positions. So it comes from the factory in the middle position. You can move the whole risers forward 15 millimeters or back 15 millimeters.
Wait, what? So the risers are sitting in a slot.
That's right. So you've got a bolt going down the center of this post, and it can go in the forward or the rearward position. Also, the riser itself is offset by 5 millimeters. So it can rotate forward or it can rotate back. So ultimately, there are 6 different positions to get it just right for your length arms and where you like to sit and ride.
Okay, I want to dwell on this. Have you seen this before?
I've seen the Himalayan 450 has a similar offset riser setup. Mm-hmm. I have never seen the one that can slide forward and back. That's really innovative.
Because we go through all these gymnastics to get different risers or extensions.
Absolutely.
Or
Everybody's
things.
different height, different length arms.
Wow.
And so
Okay.
we have that on our Escape 650, 700, and the Vettore 450. And so you can get it dialed just right. And then another nice variance is we have a little bit bigger gas tank. So we have a 4.9 gallon tank. The Ibex has a 4.6 gallon tank.
So what's the general range on this?
So most people are getting in the 55 to 60 mile per gallon range on the highway-ish.
Yeah.
Some people will get into the 65s and 70s, and then there's some throttle radicals that are probably going to get maybe in the high 40s if they're really twisting the throttle or they're riding some serious off-road.
Yeah.
But pretty good economy. You're going to find probably similar there. Also, the tank's a little bit narrower than the Ibex. So with that wraparound style, the tank continues to go out.
Right.
And so a lot of riders that stand up on the foot pegs and look down like, wow, this is quite a bit narrower. Mm-hmm. Pretty similar where your knees hit the junction there. We also have some little tank tank bag attachment points.
Yeah.
So we have a custom Moto Morini bag that fits with these post positions, but you could certainly fasten any tank bag to it.
And I want to also clarify, you've got 2 different models, 2 different versions of this.
Not in America.
Okay, because this one we're looking at, I see a switch on the seat. What does that do?
So that's an accessory. So this bike is fully accessorized.
That's what it is.
And so maybe we can cover all the optional accessories afterwards. But another big difference you were asking between the Ibex is the fact that we have a center stand. And so on the Moto Morini for $64.99, you're getting the bike with a center stand. On the Ibex, it's a $280 option as an accessory. So that's a value-added thing there. Also adds a little bit to the weight. So some people have compared the specs on the weight and go, why is the Vettore heavier than the Ibex? One of it is you got a steel center stand down there, which if someone wants to remove some weight, they could take that off.
Yeah.
And then another difference on the back is on the rear brake. We have a 255 millimeter rear rotor. The Ibex uses a 240, so a little bit bigger brake there. And
the two-part seat.
Two-part seat, yep. So the Ibex uses a single seat. Ours has two pieces, so a little bit of riser in the back. It is also adjustable, so there's some shims in the back seat that can be removed, and then it can be lowered so that it has basically a continuous line from front to back. And then one other thing that's a little bit different is the handrails. So they're a little bit more robust, a little bit larger. If you're carrying a passenger or something, they might appreciate that. And or if you have a lot of luggage or something.
They're big oh shit handles.
Sure, absolutely. Hold on and slow down because you're going too fast again.
Yeah.
The other thing that some other small tidbits here and there, the shift lever has an adjustable head on it so that you can adjust it just right for your foot very easily. One little pinch bolt.
That's another thing that you guys solved a problem in a way no one else I've seen do, where normally we have to pull the shift lever off and move it a tooth over.
Yep.
You've got an extension on the end of the lever that has its own little pivot point.
Yep, and you'll find that on several Moto Morini models. So again, Moto Morini, the Italian designers and engineers, were still designed in Milan, Italy, and they're riders, and they're passionate about motorcycles and design, and so several of our models have that. On the brake side, another difference between the Ibex, our rear brake pedal head is adjustable, so it can be slid forward or back depending on what size feet you have. So they're always thinking about the different riders and wanting different things.
These little solutions are so simple.
Yep.
It's one of those things you're like, why hasn't somebody done it this way? Because everyone has to adjust things and they like to replace things.
Yep.
You made them simply adjustable.
Right. And then, of course, the brake lever and the clutch lever for your hands are all adjustable reach. And then another thing that if you're riding the motorcycle, you're going to feel the difference is our gearing. So we chose to put a one-tooth larger countershaft sprocket and a one-tooth smaller rear sprocket. So basically a 4.5 tooth difference between the Ibex and ours. So that taller gearing gives you a lot lower RPM on the highway. So I would say that our bent is maybe a little bit more towards the street side with the calmer RPM, but also riding off-road. Another thing it does is when you're riding on rocks and roots and little stuff, the taller gearing makes it a little more relaxed. And sometimes people on the Ibex will say that it's a little snatchy or it's a little bit snappy. And this kind of calms the thing down. Now, of course, our 0 to 60 times, some people will do some diagnostic or some testing like that. And so we're a little bit less on the 0 to 60 time. But we're only a couple sprockets away from doing it exactly the same as theirs, most likely.
Yeah. So riding it, immediately I was reminded of, this engine, why I love this engine. It's such a good engine, and it pulls and pulls and pulls. And one thing I noticed, you don't have a red line. You've got a blush line. I don't know what to call it. It starts going from pink to a little more red. It's not like a defined, you got to stop at 9,000 RPM, it's going to explode. It's just like this very subtle, we're getting into the red.
Yep, and the TFT is very nice and bright.
Yeah.
So, they're using technology like phones these days with a lot of high resolution. Starts in the blue line. And
where colors changing. I'm like, I think it wants me to shift.
Yeah.
It was very subtle, but it was like communicating to me. But the one thing that both bikes have in common, this motor and this chassis are both dialed in. For a 450 to be able to do the things it does, to be able to go the speeds it does, to be able to be such a solid, stable ride, they're both built on a really good base. But it's interesting to see what you guys are doing different. And part of the Moto Morini is the Italian design, right?
Yep.
And so you've got a different looking bike. It's hard to tell.
Yeah, and I would say, again, we also have the high front fender. Theirs comes with a low front fender. Styling-wise, again, the lines are a little bit different. And so, yeah, we've definitely done the different mirrors and other things as well.
So one thing you don't have is on the Ibex, it has the one button to turn ABS off. So is this done through controls?
It is. So we have a switch gear on your left hand, the gray up and down button. So you would go on the menu to a basically off-road ride mode. And so there are probably pushing a button 2 or 3 times to get to that menu, push the button, hold the button down. So yeah, that's a little bit more cumbersome than just flipping a switch on the bar.
Yeah.
But for most riders, they're going to go off-road and they're just going to put it there, and then when they go off the street, they'll turn it back probably.
So what is the dealer network growth rate looking like now? Because still, a lot of people may not know where to get a Moto Morini.
Right. So I would say everyone needs to go to motormoriniusa.com. There's a dealer locator on there. There's 84 dealers across the United States right now, and we continue to have dealers adding on to the network. So we encourage them to look at the locator and find your dealer.
Are you doing any direct sales?
Nope.
Or everything's through the dealers?
Everything's through the dealer. Yep. These days we want a dealer network, to someone that can do warranty repairs and that kind of thing. But we also have customers that do their own maintenance and some things like that. So they'll ask us, can I do my own maintenance? And we encourage them to look at our warranty policy online. It clearly shows customers, if they want to do their own maintenance, that they just need to document what they've done, be very religious about documenting what was done at what particular day and so forth. And honestly, our motorcycles are workable by most any dealer. So if they had maintenance done, that's probably not a problem. We're equal in helping out other dealers to do the job. But we always recommend our Moto Morini dealers because they have access to the service manuals and the parts.
Right. Well, thank you. Last chance to give a plug. Where do people learn more about all the bikes? Because we didn't even get into the 1200 that you rode, and then you have the Escape, like the 700 and the 750 here.
Yep. So we have the Escape 700 here, Escape 650. So like right now, our Escape 650, we've got a $1,500 rebate incentive on that, so it takes it down to $64.99.
Wow.
So it's a unbelievable amount of motorcycle for the money. And then the 700 has it's kind of replaced the 650, and so that has a dash camera, and it has heat shields, and it has a whole bunch of other things. A center stand that's now included as standard, and an extra 10 horsepower with the 700 motor. So nice little upgrades.
MotoMorini.com?
MotoMoriniUSA.com.
There it is, MotoMoriniUSA.com. Check it out. You're looking at the same exact price for an Ibex, the same base model that is got all the things figured out. You guys have just made your own little distinct differences. So it's a definite alternative to this. Do you call this a mid-size or a small adventure?
Small adventure, probably. I think most people think the mid-size around the 700 cc's. So, and then the 3-year unlimited mileage warranty is a big hit with our customers versus the 2-year on the CF Moto or the 1-year on the Japanese products or the KTMs and stuff.
There we go. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right, Wendy here, and we are in the currently empty video tent, staying out of the wind that has become quite frosty all of a sudden. And we're talking with Jason, and I had an interesting conversation with Jason recently. He saw your bike, Liza, and asked who's this bike belong to, and it looks like it's set up for big miles.
We have the 2 street bikes here.
We have the 2 street bikes here.
Mine.
Yeah. And we had a really interesting conversation that leaned into his history and his background with motorcycling. So, Jason, introduce yourself and tell us about your accomplishment.
My name is Jason Small, and I love riding, and I've been riding since '99, and my entire riding life, I've always aspired to the kind of riding that the folks in the Iron Bike community do. I've always looked at them as the pinnacle of riders' skill and that's what I wanted to do, but a lot of imposter syndrome, a lot of self-doubt kept me from doing it for a long time. I do long rides. I just never went and got the certification, and I'm working on myself lately. And my spirit animal mechanically, I've always felt was an FJR. I had one years ago and I've missed it desperately. So I finally got another one. And before I had the paper plate off of it, I knocked out my Saddle Sore 1000, first one.
It's a cult.
It was a really big thing in personal growth for me, not just a box check in the motorcycle resume. So
it's so exciting because for so many people, I believe Liza probably included, they aspire to the 1,000-mile day and they get some certificates to prove that they did it, but it's not something they can feel compelled to do on an ongoing basis. But when I started talking to you, I could see the passion you had, and you were telling me how your ride went and some places that you thought that you maybe could improve your efficiency. And I look at you and I see like the future of iron butt riding.
Yes.
It's interesting that you say that, because I think that a lot of people struggle with fitting in or feeling like they belong somewhere. And I'm weird, and I always have felt weird. And the things that I'm into, most people are definitely not into. But when I speak with folks that do long rides, whether it's IBA or just people that ride long distance, we tend to connect. There tends to be a resonance in the conversation. And it sounds corny, and I know the email is probably a form email that goes out on the congratulations, you're certified. But I felt like this rush of being welcomed and that I belonged, and it's not this ego community. It's once you check the box, once you get through that one hurdle and show that you are serious about doing this, every single person that I've spoken to in the community has been welcoming, accepting, and the world needs more of that, especially in the motorcycle world. So
100%. And I'm so glad that is your experience. I feel like at its core, we are kind of like the band of misfit motorcyclists that we have such an interesting, diverse group of people that find that this is their passion, and it makes it so much fun that we have this thing that binds us all together across all different kinds of bikes, all different, every continent, 6 continents. We've got people that feel the same compulsion to get out there and see what they can do, see if they can do it better. You against the clock and the elements and the road. It really is, when it clicks for you, it really is a wonderful thing. So have you started thinking about what comes next?
I was planning my second one before I finished my first one. And I am going to try and I want to get my bike prepped a little bit better and have a few more bigger rides under my belt. But I want to have a crack at some kind of rally next season. So that's a goal. I have a 10-day vacation coming up, and the plans change at the last minute this next week. And if I can find lights for the bike, I'm going to try something silly. I don't know yet what, but I'm going to have a crack at some. I'll be taking pictures of receipts at some point, I think, in the next 2 weeks. So
something like a coast to coast or something?
That was something that I thought about. With 10 days, I thought maybe 2 and change there and then 8 back. Take a day off, see some family, take a day or 2 off, and then meander my way back. I'm not a huge fan of the idea of just getting on the freeway and going. If that works for some folks, that's awesome. And I think that I would do it for certain things. When you ride a lot, there's this radius around your house that gets really boring. And the way my brain works, I seek novelty. I have to have something new. And so I have to ride pretty far to see something new. And getting on the freeway for a couple hours or half a day or a day just to get out of my backyard is something I don't have a problem with. So
I have a suggestion. Maybe you
Please.
should try doing the second largest GPS drawing.
We are heading out on Monday to do the world's largest GPS drawing by a team. Perhaps largest GPS drawing by an individual is in your future. We were talking a little bit yesterday about how as soon as you realize that 1,000-mile days are something that you not only can do comfortably and safely, but you enjoy, the world becomes a very small place.
I felt that really big time because I thought I was going to struggle. I got diagnosed with sleep apnea a little while ago and started using a CPAP. Before that, I was dangerous with sleep. I would really struggle, which is one of the things that I didn't push beyond 600, 700 miles a day because I didn't think I'd be able to stay awake. But now that I regularly use a CPAP, it wasn't easy, but it was fun the whole time. I wasn't at any point going, God, I wish this was over. And that was a big light bulb for me.
I have a question. So what did you do to set your bike up for this first iron butt? And what did you decide you need to change now that you've done one?
I put gas in it and checked the tire pressure. That was it. I bought a rally bike. I bought a used one. I didn't realize it had a dashboard with all the ram mounts. And then after I bought it and I brought it home, I pulled the seat off to throw a sheepskin on it. And there's a quick release fuel line. So there's a external tank in its future, I think. And I won't have to do the plumbing for that. I'll just have to plug it in. I threw a radar detector on it. I don't speed too much, but it's just a little comfort to be able to go a little above the speed limit in the middle of nowhere. And so that's about it. Other than that, it's enough JR. I just gas it up and go.
What would some of the lessons you learned and the experience you had on the bike, what would you change going forward?
I would not pick a route that it was a polygon. It was like, I just wanted to ride where I love, and Central and Eastern Oregon is my favorite place to ride. And so in order to make the route certifiable, I had to get gas. It was like being on a Sportster with a little peanut tank. I had to get gas every 120 miles. And I made good time. And so every gas stop, I was like, well, I'm doing all right. And I would hang out and eat a snack. And next time I'm going to do it myself next time. And I'm going to have a little bit more gas stop discipline with, we talked about, I'm going to have, at each gas stop that I've planned, I'm going to have a little Tupperware with like good food in it, apples and hummus and dried pineapple and, jerky and stuff like that. And that's the food and the gas stop discipline, I think, will be, other than not having a dingbat route where I have to get gas 9 times in a day on a bike that gets 250 miles on a tank. So that felt a little silly.
What would you've now accomplished and certified something that many people aspire to and never feel like they can attain. What would your advice be to people that are thinking about doing their first saddle sore?
No matter who you are, no matter what you ride, no matter what your level of experience, if it's something that you want to do, you should absolutely do it. Don't wait. You don't know when, we don't know how many tomorrows we got, so don't wait. Just believe in yourself. This community.
Playing violin music.
It was a big deal for me. It was a really big deal in personal growth. I'm in a period of really rapid, uncomfortable growth and struggle, and you can treat obstacles as opportunity with the right attitude. And every time you accomplish something big, it's wind in your sails for the next thing. And it makes you feel better about yourself, and it helps you be a better rider to the people in your community as well. And that's a big thing for me, because this isn't golf. If you get it wrong, you can really get hurt or worse. And so community support, and if a rider that has 2 days of experience has twice the experience of a rider that has 1 day of experience. So we all have something that we can contribute to our fellow riders. And if I make myself stronger and I make myself healthier, I can help other riders more.
But remember, more golfers die from lightning strike than motorcyclists.
That can't be true. Is it really?
Sure.
I'm Googling that. I'm going to keep that one. All right, I'm keeping that one, actually. I am always struck by, we all know, we're sitting in a gas station or sitting in a restaurant, and someone comes up and says, "Oh, motorcycles, huh? You know, my aunt's nephew's dog's cousin got hurt, killed on a bike." Nobody ever comes up to somebody eating a cheeseburger and says, "Oh, cheeseburgers, huh? That's pretty cool. My uncle had a heart attack when he was..." Like, nobody does that. There's just such a misunderstanding about where the risk really lies in motorcycling, and it's in our decision making. And if you learn to make good decisions, this is a lifelong. I taught my son how to ride. So I believe that this is something that could be done safely, sanely for a long time. Otherwise, I wouldn't do something as an example for my kids.
I want to go back because as a first-time rider, let's tell the people the process. Because, Wendy, it's been a long time since you did your first. And people who may want to plan to try this don't know the process. So tell them the process of how you research and prepare for this.
There is a lot of information online. It can be fairly simple. You can pick a freeway and drop a pin 500 miles away, get gas a couple times and turn around and come back. You can piece together a weird route like I did. Just make sure your bike is prepped.
So start, I would say, by going to the IBA website.
Yes, of course.
Just start by going there, have an account, and there's a wealth of information there. What I found interesting is people's stories of them telling their blog, like what they did. And you can learn from reading other people's stories.
Yeah.
But it's telling you what you need to be prepared for, how you need to document.
Yes.
Having witnesses, having receipts, stuff like that.
Yep.
So that's what you start by going to the IBA website. Do you know what it is?
There's a couple of different, there's ironbutt.org, and they've got a few different sources of information, all approximately circa 1995. So I'm not sure which one has the information on the specific rides. But the good news is once you get that first ride, once you go through all of the steps with getting your beginning and end witness statements and mailing in your receipts and things like that, it becomes a lot easier. It opens up access to quicker ways to certify. You can become a premier member and have access to certifications that basically you're digitally reporting as you travel. And by the time you put your kickstand down in your driveway, almost, you've got that certification. So really, that first ride is you have cleared a hurdle, and it's going to be so much easier from here on out.
The other thing I like there is you can see what bikes people have ridden to do this. And you're shocked sometimes. What's one of the smallest bikes you're aware of?
Well, I did a saddle sore on a 100cc Chinese bike in Mexico. But I know somebody was doing a saddle sore on a moped in Arizona in the desert, and they had like the wife in the minivan with big flashing lights, like slow motorcycle ahead or something. And so
that's my point. You don't have to have a, long distance ready big touring bike. You could do it on anything, and you get to plan your route anywhere.
Yeah.
And I know I've told this story before, but when you're on a big bike, like on an FJR, it's everything in your head is all about, I need to stay on pace. I need to stay on task. I need to take that 5 minutes I just spent at the gas stop, and I need to recoup that time with maximum efficiency. And when you're on a 100cc bike, I am wide open pinned for 23 hours and 48 minutes, and I'm just going like I'm in my Zen zone. I'm like, go around, brother. I'm going as fast as I can go. I'm tucked, and that's all there is in the world. There's no making up for lost time. You just enjoy where you are in this moment on the bike, passing through the world. Very different experience.
To that point, with not experience in your world is nearly as much, but I'm a customer service rep in the industry, and I work for Moscow doing...
Shout out.
We do adventure bike and dual sport stuff.
Yeah.
And I am very fond of saying that every bike is an adventure bike. And so I would extend that to say every bike is an iron butt bike if you want it to be. It's more about your prep and your mentality and learning how to ride within your own limits so that you could do it more than once. And just make sure the bike is mechanically sound. And every bike's an adventure bike. Every bike is an iron butt bike.
So you have another one. You're already planning. You think you're going to knock it out this year?
Oh, and next 10 days. Yeah.
Oh, they got the hook in deep with you.
Yeah. If I don't have lights, I won't do something long because my night vision is horrific and it's unsafe. But I feel like I could probably get one done pretty easily in 18 or 19 hours and just do it because it feels good and I love it. Yeah, like I said, I was thinking of the number 2 before I was done with the number 1.
And the good news for you is there are several. We've got Clearwater and Denali and Cyclops lights here, all running Touratech show specials.
I've been schmoozing.
Very cool.
Nice. Do you have a blog or a website or anything to plug? You're just some dude just doing long distance riding, doing cool stuff.
And it was that pure joy of seeing your bike and recognizing that this is a rig set up for long distance that kind of started this conversation. And then he, by pure coincidence, ended up having a long conversation with Long Haul Paul. And I think it is the vortex of long distance riders that are finding each other.
I actually have a point to that. So I saw your bike first. And I didn't know it was your bike. I just looked at it. I was like, that's a rally bike. And I said to myself, I wonder if I could pick out whose bike it is. In a crowd of hundreds of motorcyclists, you were the first person I asked, hey, is that your FJR? And you said, yeah. And I was like, I knew it. I don't know how I knew it.
You look for the people with the wonky walks.
Yeah. The bugs in their teeth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, you guys ready to go close out this event? Let's see what's going on out there.
I think so. Go grab some good deals on some aux lights before the show ends and get ready for
And I would recommend a brake free. Brake free for the back of your helmet. More visibility.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you very much.
Guys, thank you so much for making me feel immediately welcome in something that I've wanted to be a part of for a very, very long time, and it feels really great. So,
Jason, congratulations. It has been a pleasure to talk with you, and I will look forward to seeing what comes next for you.
Likewise.
One of us. One of us.
Thank you again.
Thanks. All right. Well, we're catching back up. It's the end of the rally. It wrapped yesterday. Wendy, what'd you think?
It was a great weekend. I had a lot of fun. We had a bit of weather, but it wasn't too bad. We had some wind. It got a little nippy. We got a little bit of rain, but nothing that put a damper on the fun.
Let me tell you something. The adventure riding community, they love a little bit of misery. They like to have things be broken roads and they like to sleep on the ground and they like to bring their little tiny coffee maker drip system thing that takes an hour to make over the wood fire, and then they're prepared for the rain because they've got rain covers for everything. And they're like, ain't nothing gonna stop me.
No, and the weather brought just enough of misery to make them feel like they had a real adventure this weekend.
Yeah, but I had a great time. We saw a bunch of old friends. We saw listeners Eric and Tim came by.
And Tad?
Yeah, and Thad, who was wearing one of the old T-shirts.
Mm-hmm.
He was so excited. And just all sorts of people that we saw. Alex from Break Free, always great to see him. And so many just people we know in the motorcycle community and making new friends and long distance riders and just a good time. It felt like, even though it was my first time there, like almost like a reunion of types. You know what I mean?
Yeah, friends we see. Lulu we saw.
Yeah.
Well,
Jocelyn ran into her.
We've friends that we see all across the country. We're just as likely to see in Maine as we are in Washington.
Yeah, I liked. I did a Honda test ride, and I tried the new Transalp, which I guess the thing that's interesting about the Touratech Rally is the test rides most of them are off road, and we went on some trail, and I'm like, oh, what am I getting into? But as soon as I stood up on the bike, it stabled out. It was fine. It was a fun ride. But yeah, they had speakers. We saw my friend Heather Lee talking there. Lots of stuff. But I was shocked, like how many people were camping and just like looked happy.
Yeah, well, Yamaha had that incredible glamping zone that they set up.
Shout out. That was awesome. They had tents set up that you could use that had pads and everything. Then they had a big tent with chairs and a grill and some food and drinks. And it was just if you're riding a Yamaha, come on by and you can camp in our section.
Yep, show up without carrying all of your gear and everything you need to have a wonderful, comfortable weekend. You just show up and have fun.
And then we got to have a day off today, and we went and pet reindeer and did a nice little ride over a mountain in probably the thickest clouds we've ever been in. It got cold fast. And the thing is, we're heading off tomorrow. We're starting our world record ride tomorrow. So this was our last kind of day to sleep in and make sure everything's ready and packed. And we didn't pack for cold weather. We're heading off around the country in July thinking it's going to be hot. Didn't Paul say he has winter storm warnings on his way back to New Hampshire?
Paul had winter storm warnings all through Montana, right leading into the tornado warnings in North Dakota. So we wish him safe travels.
Yeah, we're heading south, so we're going to get into some warmer weather. And you've got a little issue on your bike you've discovered right at the beginning.
Yeah, I've got a little bit of a head shimmy, and so we were looking at that, and I've got just a little flat spot developed in my steering stem bearings. So not the end of the world. I'm glad. My primary concern was that it was a safety issue. You know, I've gone all through the bike, so I wanted to make sure it wasn't a faulty tire. It wasn't a wheel bearing problem that I had not caught on the initial inspection. Something like that had the potential for catastrophic failure. Now I know what it is. It's just a little shimmy. And it's not a safety.
It's not too bad yet.
No, it's.
So, what did you say? It's only got 150,000 miles on those bearings.
Yeah, just 150. I thought I'd replace them more recently than that, but apparently I just serviced them. So it's all good. They're good Timken bearings. She'll be right, mate.
Good event. Good weekend. You know what was fun? Did you go over to where they had that course set up through the trees? It looked like a trials course, but it was more like a tiny motocross course through the trees. But apparently the Zero test rides let you take the little dirt bikes on that.
Yeah, right.
And there were people like launching on jumps on them and crashing, and it was pretty cool to see.
That was bold of them to do.
Yeah, and then Jocelyn teaching her classes over in that field. I mean, I didn't realize how big it was until I took a long walk. Lots to discover there.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's just on the property. That's not even getting into all of the on-road and off-road riding that was available. They had trail rides and group rides and things that were available for anybody to join up to. So fantastic event.
Yeah, I thought so. So big thanks to Touratech for inviting us up there, and I got to enjoy it and see lots of people. I think there were some people like, what are you doing here? Jocelyn definitely did that to me. What? It was good times. So check out Touratech Rally. I assume it's every year about this time.
Yeah.
In the frigid, freezing rain of end of June. Where were we?
Plain, Washington.
Plain, Washington.
This was the 16th Touratech Rally. So I imagine they'll be back next year for a 17th.
Yeah, so check it out. So we're heading out on our ride tomorrow. For our listeners, if you would like to follow along, you can go to worldrecordride.com, and there's a blog section on the front page, and I put a link to our track route so people can follow and see where we're going, and we'll be doing a blog stuff there. So check that out. But yeah, we're heading out on the road.
It's going to be great. I have no doubt we will have adventures to share as our trip unfolds.
Yes. So big shout out again to Touratech. Thank you very much. But especially to our listeners. You guys are the best. Patreon subscribers, love you. If you're ordering t-shirts, not shipping till August, but go ahead and go to motorcyclesandmisfits.com, order a t-shirt, and see what else we're up to. Send us an email. We still want to hear from you because Stumpy John, Emma, Jim, all them, they're going to be doing a couple live shows from the studio while I'm gone as well. So let us know what you are up to this summer, and maybe tell us what rallies you're attending. I want to hear what are other good rallies. So on that note, thanks everyone. Reach us at motorcyclesandmisfits@gmail.com. Motorcyclesandmisfits.com is the place to go, and worldrecordride.com. Follow us. Thanks everyone for listening. Time to get out of here. This is Liza.
This is Wendy.
And we are out of here. Cool, cool.